This is the Retirement Mentality channel. This is a place where I'm going to change your mentality about retirement. And in today's Retirement Mentality lesson, I'm going to teach you guys how to not get scammed by scam artists. They just tried to scam me on a real estate deal. I ended up busting them, but mainly because they made a big mistake. I'm going to tell you all about it. This could get anybody, especially real estate agents. If you're a real estate agent, you want to watch this. I wasted a lot of time with these guys. Even though I caught them in the act of what they're trying to do, they made a mistake. They sent me a wrong piece of identification. I'm going to tell you all about it, but this is what you're going to watch if you don't want to get scammed on a real estate deal. I'm going to tell you all about it right now.
Shut up and sit down.
Just in case you're new here, this is a channel where we talk about real estate investing, the FIRE movement, retiring early, and just basically how to have money that'll get you through your retirement and never run out. That's the key of what I've accomplished and how I did it, basically through buying real estate. And since I'm a real estate investor, you know, there are a lot of scams out there. I'm also a real estate agent. And here's what happened. I just had a guy call me up and he said, "Hey, I found your contact information on realtor.com and I'd like for you to list a piece of land for me." Now, that was a little bit of a red flag because people don't really just find me on realtor.com. They would have to, I don't know how they would search and find me. So the little hairs on the back of my neck were already standing up a little bit. You know, he's a guy with a foreign accent, which I don't want to sound racist or anything, but a lot of these scams originate outside of the US. That's the key to them not getting caught. So it was a foreign person asking me to list a property that he found me just randomly through realtor.com. So there's a couple things that just didn't quite feel right there right off of the bat. I was actually at dinner when this guy called me. So I said, "Hey, look, I need to give you the time that you need to discuss this. I'm out at a restaurant. It's kind of noisy. Let me get with you in the morning." He said, "That sounds great. I understand. Let's get back together tomorrow morning." So he sent me a text. I said, "Send me your email and all your contact information." So he had sent me a text and he had asked me to send him a CMA, a comparative market analysis, in the morning so that he could look at the comps and see how much he thought he could sell his residential lot for. So before I did the CMA, I looked up his name. I looked it up in the county property records. His name that he gave me matched the name on the county property records, and his email was even his name at hotmail.com. So I thought, like, you know, that's an extra step a scammer would have to go through to have their name as a Hotmail email address. Because if I wanted to just get my name as a Hotmail address, I never, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, however long people actually used to use Hotmail, I never was able to just get my name at Hotmail. So somebody had already taken it. So I figured he must have had this Hotmail address for a while. I was like, okay, maybe this checks out. So I went ahead, I prepared the CMA for him. It took me 20 minutes. I got it sent over to him. He called me back and he's like, "I like it. I like the price." We talked a little bit about where we were going to price it at, and he was going to price it definitely on the low end. And he said he needed to liquidate this. He needed to get the money out fast. The person who owned this lot had owned it since 1985 in the county property records, so I could see that it had been there for a long time. So somebody just finally decided, "I'm tired of paying taxes on it. I'll take a little bit less. Let's just get rid of it." Wasn't out of the question. And it wasn't a ridiculously low listing price either. And then so I sent this guy the listing agreement. He signed it, got it back to me. He's like, I'm ready to go. Let's get this thing on the market." I was like, "Well, I need to go get some pictures taken." I said, "I want to get my drone up, get some drone shots." And we had a storm that was supposed to be coming, and it was going to be raining for like 2 days. So I rushed out of the house and I went over there, popped up my drone, took drone videos, took drone photos, took regular photos of it, went back to my office. I was editing all these videos and pictures. I spent another 30 minutes or so writing the description, getting it all entered into the MLS. And this guy was like, "Is it live yet? Is it live yet?" And he was really bugging me to see when the listing was going to go live. And it was just, I just was sort of thinking about it. I was like, he didn't ask me what my commission was before he signed the listing agreement. That was another red flag, which isn't horrible. Like, it's a piece of bare land. 6% is regular, real estate listing commission. But people usually ask what it is, and he didn't ask very many questions. It all was very easy. So I decided that I wanted to get a picture ID from this guy. I said, hey, I'm just about ready to put your listing live. I said, since we never met in person, and the address on the county property record said that he lived in Georgia. He did not have a Georgia phone number, by the way. It was a 321 area code, and I'm not sure where the area code. It wasn't a Georgia area code. So I said, hey, I need to get a copy of your driver's license just to verify you are who you say you are before I put this into the MLS. Now, look, I've done business with people that I've never met before. I've listed lots of houses, condos, bare land. My first listing I had was 5 acres right down the road. I'm sitting in one of my rental properties, by the way. It's got a fishing theme in here. My very first listing was 5 acres right down the road from here, right across the street, actually. Anyway, very close to here for $1 million. And this was 10 years ago. And I never met the guy. He lived out of state. We did everything via text and email. So I've done lots of deals where I've never met the person, and I've never asked anybody to send me a picture ID before. Something just wasn't feeling right on this thing. So I asked this guy, I said, can you send me a photo ID before I put this on the internet? He said, no problem. Do you mind if I send you? And he said, my international passport instead of a driver's license. I was expecting a foreign passport. I said, no problem, that's fine. He said, okay. He said, I don't know how to SMS a picture, meaning text, which nobody in this country uses the word SMS for text. We would say text. I don't know how to text a picture, which I think even my 83-year-old father can text me a picture. But anyway, I said, that's fine. And so he says, my daughter will text over a picture of my passports because I don't know how to do it. I said, no problem. Basically, he was just going to tell me that it was going to come from a different phone number. So I get a picture of a passport. It's a U.S. passport. I'll put it up here so you can see it. I'll put it right over here. He sends me the picture of the passport. And the name is a different name than the name on the lot and the name of the person who I've been talking to that I verified, who signed the contract, the listing agreement. So I was like, I was like, hey, man. We were texting. So I was like, not like you don't text like this, you text like this. So I was like, hey, man, this is a different person. What's going on? And then he said, oh, my daughter accidentally sent over a picture of her husband's passport. She's going to send you mine now. Sorry about that. Please just delete that one and get rid of it, and I'll send you mine. I said, okay. And I was like, LOL, haha. And I was like, that's not an LOL, man. You're making me more nervous here. So then he texts over, or the daughter texts over a second picture of a passport, and it's got a different picture. It's got a different address, a different birth date, and everything looked legit. But because the little hairs on the back of my neck were already up and I'm in detective mode now, I looked at everything on these passport photos and they both had the same passport number. And I was like, I got you, mother scratcher. So now I've got him. Now I know that he's lying to me. And now I'm like, okay, now what do I do? So I decided to do a little bit more of investigative work here. I've already got a lot of time and energy into this bogus deal, and I'm a little bit mad now. I'm mad now. So I looked up this guy's name on the internet to try to see if I could find a Facebook page or a phone number or some way to contact the real owner of this lot, or another way to contact this person, the real person. And I came up with a phone number. So I call, and it's a Georgia phone number, 770 area code. So I call this phone number, and this girl answers the phone, and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for this person's name. And this girl says, I'm not this person. I do not own property in Florida. I am not trying to sell property in Florida. And she's pissed. She's already agitated. I didn't tell her why I was calling. All I did was say this dude's name. So now I know these scammers have been doing this scam for a while. She said this is big. So I was like, hey, do you have a minute? I'll tell you what's going on, why I have your number. I explained the whole thing to her. She was very appreciative. I don't think anybody had explained to her why she keeps getting these phone calls. And I said, look, I'm going to turn this information over to the police department. They may want to call you. I don't know if you kept track of anybody else who called you, if you've got any other phone numbers or who contacted you. She's like, I'm happy to help. I'm tired of these phone calls. Whatever you need from me, that's fine. So now I know that this has been going on for quite a while. and that lots of people have contacted this girl. I don't know if there are other real estate agents who were as smart as me and figured this out or not. I kind of doubt it, but I don't know how else this maybe. Well, I'll tell you what I think their end game is here in a second. So then I got to thinking, I bet the first passport picture they sent me that was the wrong person. I said, I bet that guy owns vacant land here in the same city, in Panama City Beach, where we live. So I put this other person's name into the property records, and sure enough, he owns 2 lots vacant here, here in Panama City Beach. So now I know they're doing scams on multiple pieces of bare land. I've got the phone number of the guy who contacted me. I've got the phone number of the daughter who texted me the fake passports. I was thinking that falsifying a federal document like a passport might get law enforcement interested. So I call my friend who works at the police department. He said, did you lose any money? And I said, no, just time and aggravation. He said, just go online and fill out an online police report. Okay, do that. Next day, a police officer calls me and he's like, oh, well, that address isn't in the city limits. I know the other address of this person you said is in the city limits, but the one you're actually dealing with is not in the city limits. So I can't help you. You have to call the sheriff's department. So I call the sheriff's department. They say, go online and fill out an online incident report. And I say, okay. So I go online, I fill out an incident report. The whole time this bogus scammer keeps texting me, asking me when this thing is going to go live. He just wants this listing to go live, and I finally figured out why. So today, the sheriff's department called me back, and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, sorry, dude, we get a bunch of these phone calls, and there's nothing we can do. They just scam people, and there's people get scammed out of their money. And I was like, I got phone numbers, I got email addresses, I've got the bogus, federally passports. I got pictures of these passports. He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, there's nothing we can do. He's like, they're outside of the US. He's like, give me the phone numbers. He's like, I'll put them into the system. So I give him the first phone number. He's like, that's a bogus phone number. I can't even trace it. Second number, I give it to him. The daughter who sent the pictures, he puts that in. It's a local phone number. He goes, no, he's like, I can see that's an internet phone. It's bouncing somewhere out of Greenville, Florida, which I've never even heard of that town. He's like, it'll just be an endless trail. We'll never find them. He said, these people are out of the country. He said, there's no repercussions. They have no downside. We can't catch them. Nobody's going to try to catch them. We can't track them down. And they get these listings. And here's how the scam works. This is what they wanted. They wanted me to post my listing and put it onto the MLS so that they could copy the listing and then post it out to other places to try to find buyers. And then when they find a buyer who's interested, they say, hey, look, we got a lot of other people interested. I just need you to send me $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 earnest money deposit so I can hold the lot. We'll get it under contract. And then somebody gets excited because they get it. They think they're getting a good deal. It's under market value. They wire this guy money, and then the guy disappears. The sheriff that I talked to said that the worst account that he's seen was for $200,000 that this happened to them. And he told me some other stories. I won't get into all the stories with you, but that's how the scam works. They try to trick a real estate agent into listing a property they don't own. Then when that listing goes live on the internet, they post that out. They try to find buyers, and they try to get those buyers to send them a deposit check. So this is why you only want to make sure you're working with a verified realtor who is part of the Realtor Association. You can vet them, you can check them, you can check their credentials. Never wire money directly to a seller if you're a buyer. Only wire money or send money through a title company or an attorney that holds the money and doesn't send it directly to a seller. That is the way you will lose your retirement savings, and you will never have to retire. You'll have to go back to work. So this is just, the sheriff's department wouldn't do anything. The police department wouldn't do anything. I called my board of realtors and I told them, and they go, yeah, it happens all the time. And I was like, maybe you should send out an email to all the other real estate agents so they see how this scam works. And they're like, yeah, nah, we're not going to do it. So basically nobody gives a shit. And these people are scamming people out of their hard-earned money. So I thought I will do my civic duty and make this video so that, I don't know, hopefully that maybe somebody just never thought that they needed to send a deposit to buy land or a house or a condo or any kind of real estate through a title company. You might think you're just talking to a for sale by owner person, and you and the owner are going back and forth and you think they seem legit, never give money to another person in a real estate transaction. Only give it through a title company or an attorney or an intermediary who is a legit person that you can vet, that's not the person trying to sell you the land. So there's my real estate scam that I busted, but the people will never pay any consequences except for my wasted time. And I hopefully, if you got any value out of this, give me that thumbs up that you know you're supposed to do. So consider subscribing to the channel if you want to find out more about investing in real estate, retiring early, all things about the FIRE movement, and just changing your mentality about retirement. And if you like this video, go watch this video over here and I will tell you a little bit more about me if you're interested in the channel. If you've never been here before, you can go watch this video. It's been doing very well, so I'll just link you back to this video and you can find out my story, how I went broke, and then how I bought one house every year and I retired at 45 and then I went back to work because I got bored. But I call it recreational employment, financial independence, recreational employment. That is the key, my friends. I'll see you in the next video.